Well, Leroy, it was an easy decision, I guess, today, but not really the one you wanted.
Yeah, that's right, Kyle. It was, well, it's never an easy decision to wave off, but easy in the sense that it was clear that the crosswinds were going to be out of limits and sustained.
Well, we were, I guess, our landing time was about 1:14 or so about 20 minutes ago. Did you take a look at the weather, what it actually was at the time we would have landed?
Yeah, we sure did. In fact, the winds for our first opportunity remained out of limits. The observations were out of limits. The forecast continued to be out of limits, and the actual landing time for the first opportunity, the winds are in fact outside of our crosswind limits.
Well, we also know that we've got Chief Astronaut at Charlie Precourt that provides some real-time observation for you. And what was he telling your team from Florida as he was flying the shuttle training aircraft today, too?
Charlie was reporting his observations from the approaches that he was doing at both ends of the runway, and in general, he had some reports that the conditions were generally pretty good, although he did report some turbulence, as much as moderate turbulence, and some indications of changing wind patterns. And so his reports were generally pretty consistent with the observations in the forecast on the winds of the day.
For those that don't know, sort of lay the groundwork for how the flight rule works in this case with crosswinds, and why it's so important that we don't go above that.
Okay, sure. Of course, the rule for daylight landings is 15 knots on the crosswind, and there's a number of reasons for intermission why the rule is what it is, but part of the rationale is, of course, the deconditioning aspect that is a variable for us with the crew being on orbit for 10 or 12 or more days. The controllability of the vehicle in the crosswind, with our experience base and all the simulation and test data that we have, suggests that that's a good number, in addition to when we look at the real vehicle limitations and back off from those numbers, any kind of forecast uncertainties is how we get to a number, in this case, of 15 knots.
Well, let's see. Of course, now that the crew earned another day in space today, lead us down the path of, I guess, what your philosophy is tomorrow. What are our opportunities for tomorrow's landing, and what does the weather look like, I guess, for tomorrow?
Okay, tomorrow we have activated the Edwards Air Force Base, our backup landing site for tomorrow, and we have 2 opportunities to KSC, and we have 2 opportunities to Edwards. As it turns out, the first opportunity to KSC is on the TIG is on Rev 185. The second opportunity to KSC is also on the same rev as the first opportunity to Edwards, so we have overlap there. And then our third opportunity, or third rev for the day, is to Edwards only. So in that sense, we have 2 opportunities to each site. The weather forecast for each site is marginal. The conditions are expected to worsen a little bit at the SLF tomorrow at KSC. The winds are expected to be as strong or stronger than they were today. And with respect to Edwards, we're expecting a chance for some ceilings there, as well as a potential chance for some rain showers in the area. As you know, it's a little too early. In 12 hours from now, we'll know a lot more about both sites. But we do have both sites for tomorrow. We're going to look at them both real hard. The forecasts are both marginal at this point, but we'll come in tomorrow and see how the weather looks.
I guess from a consumable standpoint, you can go as far out as Wednesday. So have you already looked at, maybe even in just a cursory glance at Tuesday?
We have. In fact, as we talked a little bit yesterday, the forecast for KSC generally degrade over time here, and the forecast for Edwards generally improve over time. In that sense, the forecast for Edwards is really quite good at this point for Tuesday, and so we're looking forward to tomorrow to see what we get, and with the understanding that Edwards is expected to improve even more the next day on Tuesday.
Would there be any? I know most people think that weather's the only factor that drives us to one landing site or another, but obviously the vehicle's in excellent shape. But do you foresee any kind of mechanical issue or a non-weather factor, I guess, that would influence your decision in terms of which site you would go to?
Not necessarily. No, we factor in the fact that, of course, we have a high desire to land at Kennedy Space Center, and with Edwards Air Force Base as our primary backup site, and that's where we would try to land next. And the only factors that we consider on landing day in this case like this is primarily the weather.
Well, I know your focus really is on STS 92, but there are probably folks out there who are looking ahead to, we're about to launch the first crew that's going to go live on the station, and then immediately after that we have another shuttle flight that's going to go to the station. And do you see any issue at all with the delay in Discovery, even if we stayed up another day, affecting the next shuttle launch of Endeavour or the launch of the Expedition 1 crew to the station?
I know of no impacts to the next shuttle flight, STS-97 Mission 4A, or to the launch of the Expedition crew. I know of no impacts to either of those as a function of our landing here in STS-92, so I'm not aware of any impacts there. I think the answer would be no.
Okay, well, we've got about 3 minutes or so remaining in this loss of signal period, so we'll let you go, Leroy. I appreciate you stopping by for a minute, and you close out your shift with the entry team here, and I believe you guys are going to try again tomorrow, coming in about the same time, 6 a.m.
That's correct. Yeah, we'll be back at 6 tomorrow morning to try it again.
Okay, thanks, Leroy.
Thank you.